Greetings. My name is Brad Bullen. I am the Global Sales Product Line Manager for Core Products here at Nova Biomedical, and I have the unique pleasure of presenting to you today the Stat Profile Prime Plus Analyzer. The Stat Profile Prime Plus was truly designed to make standardization simple within any hospital, clinic, or clinical care setting. The Prime Plus was designed as an analyzer to standardize across all departments or any clinical care setting, be it high volume or low volume, any hospital or clinic anywhere. The Stat Profile Prime Plus was designed as an analyzer to meet the needs across any clinical care setting, to truly follow that patient's care continuum from entering in the emergency department, whether they go to surgery or cardiopulmonary or respiratory care, even down in the laboratory setting, and ultimately the ICU, following them right through to patient discharge. Providing the broadest menu available in the marketplace allows us to do that. With its unique design, we can also drive down the overall cost of operation, therefore making the Prime Plus the best clinical option to meet the needs of any department or clinical care setting. The emergency department is the main area where many patients are being admitted into the hospital. And oftentimes, clinicians don't know what they don't know regarding a patient's clinical status. Providing the broadest menu available in the marketplace not only improves workflow, but it also improves patient care. We do this by providing a basic metabolic panel or CHEMATE, all in roughly 1 minute. We also have a unique component cartridge design, which minimizes the overall downtime while maximizing the overall value, meaning you only change out what has been exhausted on the analyzer. And by separating those individual components, we maximize the overall uptime, meaning when you change out one of those components, it is going to take less time than many of the analyzers common to the marketplace today, reducing hours to minutes in many instances. Our total quality management assures complete analyzer performance with the utilization of true liquid quality control, gold standard in the marketplace, as well as supplemental quality monitoring, which provides assurances on clinical performance in between QC intervals. Not only providing absolute assurance in patient quality, but also regulatory compliance, which is increasingly important across the globe. Within the emergency department, turnaround time and leaving without treatment are two significant issues that the Stat Profile Prime Plus analyzer can assist with. Having a point-of-care analyzer with the broad menu available, such as on the Prime Plus, you can reduce the length of stay in the emergency department. You can have a decision of go, no-go with regard to sepsis protocols and whether or not that patient needs to be admitted. So you can open up that bed to additional patients in need. Not only that, but leaving without treatment is also a major concern. If you have patients leaving the hospital in a possible septic situation, that's not good for either the emergency department nor the patient themselves. So being able to treat effectively and reduce the leaving without treatment frequency is of paramount importance. The core lab does a great job of turning around patient samples as quickly as possible. However, in the emergency department, where stat testing is paramount, the Stat Profile Prime Plus is truly an analyzer that can assist the clinical team in reducing the overall length of stay in the emergency department, as well as reducing the possibility of patients leaving without treatment. This will lead to increased patient satisfaction, reduce overall treatment delays, and possible reduction in adverse events and probability of mortality. When designing the Prime Plus analyzer, we were truly focused on providing the broadest menu available in the marketplace to meet the needs of point-of-care testing while providing a broad menu, including a basic metabolic panel, which has been shown to drastically reduce the overall length of stay in any emergency department. By reducing the overall turnaround time to receive patient results over 45 minutes, which when you're dealing with critical care patients and possibly septic patients, every minute is important. Being able to turn those patients around quickly, getting them up to the floors or discharged, can truly have an impact on a patient's outcome and survivability. In the surgical setting, it is important to have the broadest menu available in the marketplace with rapid turnaround times, because when a patient is on the table, time is of the essence. Providing the broadest clinical picture in the marketplace with the Prime Plus, providing unique assays of ionized magnesium, BUN, and creatinine, as well as some unique calculated parameters as well. Ionized magnesium is incredibly important for strong cardiac contraction and cardiac rhythm. Being able to guide magnesium sulfate repletion is incredibly important in reducing the overall time on table for the cardiac surgeon, as well as being able to provide a complete blood gas and co-oximetry profile, including temperature-corrected values important to systemic oxygenation, as well as providing a measured hematocrit and a measured hemoglobin on every sample, something that many of the handheld units cannot provide. And hemodilution is an incredible challenge for those analyzers to provide an adequate calculated result for hemoglobin. Being able to provide BUN and creatinine in real time can truly help determine that patient's renal perfusion during that given case. So broadest menu available can truly impact the overall time on the table and being able to discharge that patient out to the floors in a better situation than having to send out samples or basing clinical decisions on calculated parameters. So the main question that is posed often in the field is, why measure ionized magnesium in cardiothoracic surgery? Oftentimes, surgical teams are already repleting mag sulfate to correct ionized magnesium levels blindly. Nova Biomedical is the only analyzer that provides an ionized magnesium, and being able to guide that therapeutic repletion is really key to patient outcomes. Even with current practice, 75% of all bypass patients experience some hypomagnesemia post-operatively. Abnormal mag levels can result in cardiac arrest and ventricular arrhythmias as well. So it's something that can be viewed as an added tool to guide therapeutic intervention and improve patient outcomes. Oftentimes when meeting with a surgical team or a perfusionist, questions come up about the importance of ionized magnesium. And oftentimes, because surgical teams have not been looking at ionized magnesium as an important factor, I always like to position the importance of measuring ionized calcium. In this day and age, it would be rare that any clinician would order a total calcium when an ionized calcium evidences the biologically active component. Ionized calcium is the important factor there. Same applies to ionized magnesium. And when looking at strong cardiac function, having a strong ion balance, or more importantly, an ionized magnesium, ionized calcium balance, you are looking at the total package from a cardiac function perspective. Ionized calcium is an important factor in all cardiac contractility. Ionized magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker, regulating cardiac contraction, and maintaining a strong ion balance is key to normal cardiac rhythm. So as that patient is coming off pump and transitioning out to the floors, you are positioning that patient for the best clinical outcome when you are assuring a strong ion balance with ionized magnesium and ionized calcium in combination. So we already discussed the importance of having the combination of ionized magnesium and ionized calcium. But I think it's important to understand why measuring ionized magnesium and not total magnesium is also important. Ionized magnesium is the physiologically active component of total magnesium, and they are oftentimes absolutely independent of one another, especially if you're hemodiluting a patient or putting a lot of anticoagulant into a circuit during cardiac bypass. Having a point-of-care ionized magnesium analyzer or option to analyze ionized magnesium can help guide mag sulfate repletion, as well as reducing the possibility of overdosing and possibly providing a mag toxicity to a patient, which is also as detrimental as having low ionized magnesium. It has a very tight therapeutic range, and I often term ionized magnesium as the forgotten analyte. It is incredibly important to the surgical setting and guiding therapeutic intervention. As we go out onto the hospital floors or the clinic floors, more importantly the ICU setting, it is important to have an analyzer that does not require a ton of maintenance or hands-on time. The Prime Plus is the only no-maintenance analyzer that provides unique assays, ionized magnesium, obviously very important in the surgical and emergency department setting, as well as BUN and creatinine. About 50% of all patients in the hospital will experience a certain degree of acute kidney injury during their stay. Being able to provide serial testing to reduce that impact can be incredibly important, not only to the clinician but the patient as well. Providing ionized magnesium testing, continuing from the surgical arena or transfer from the emergency department up to the ICU setting can help adjust and provide that patient additional therapeutic intervention to prevent them from going into other cardiac events or dysrhythmias. Providing the broadest menu available can really meet the needs across any clinical setting or ICU setting specifically, including NICU, PICU, medical intensive care unit, surgical unit, as well as trauma units, basically across the entire clinical care setting. When designing an analyzer for standardization throughout the hospital setting, it was important for Nova Biomedical to assure that BUN and creatinine or urea and creatinine are on the testing platform. The Prime Plus providing a point-of-care option for BUN and creatinine is really a game changer. As I stated previously, acute kidney injury in the ICU is highly prevalent, and in fact, over 50% of patients in the ICU will experience some acute kidney injury during their stay. Acute kidney injury is associated with prolonged length of stay, obviously, as well as an increase in morbidity and mortality. If we can save one patient's renal function, I believe that we have had a success with the Prime Plus analyzer. And instituting this type of analyzer in a clinical setting, allowing for serial sampling to guide therapeutic intervention and reduce the possibility of acute kidney injury, it's a win-win for both the patient as well as the clinical care team. Obviously, ionized magnesium is incredibly important from a surgical setting perspective, but also in the ICU setting as well. As patients are discharged from the OR up to the floors, or once they're admitted from the emergency department onto the floors, oftentimes therapeutic interventions can impact ionized magnesium levels long after either admittance into the emergency department or being discharged from the OR onto the floors. Hypomagnesemia is incredibly high in prevalence with critical care patients, affecting well over 50% of the ICU patients in a given institution. And providing point-of-care monitoring allows for active repletion of mag sulfate for those patients that have poor ionized magnesium levels long after they've received repletion in the OR or in the emergency department setting. So it really is designed to avoid mag toxicity or low magnesium level effects such as cardiac arrest or arrhythmia. So truly impactful, not only in the ED, not only in the OR, but on the ICU as well. We've talked about standardization throughout the emergency department and the surgical areas, as well as the ICU setting. But importantly, the laboratory is an area where having an analyzer that can standardize is truly impactful. The Step Profile Prime Plus was designed to really be a workhorse and to act as a backup for the core lab. But in those clinical settings outside of the laboratory where regulatory concerns can be an issue, having an analyzer that has total quality management or true liquid quality control in combination with supplemental quality monitoring, it can assure the laboratory personnel and laboratory administration that those analyzers are being maintained and quality is being assured with our total quality management. What we also provide is a single connectivity solution with NovaNet. It's something that Nova Biomedical provides at no charge to our corporate partners, to our institutional partners. Being able to connect analyzers on one platform truly allows the end user to monitor, remote review, remote access any information and truly maintain that analyzer without any hands-on requirements. It provides online training solutions as well as one platform to simplify order procurement. So this analyzer was truly designed to minimize the overall operating time and hands-on time required to provide outstanding clinical results and improving the overall workflow for any area of the hospital. The Prime Plus was designed around the microsensor card technology. Our microsensor card technology is truly revolutionary in its design. It has up to 22 measured assays, including co-oximetry, as well as 32 calculated parameters in roughly 1 minute. Our unique component cartridge design really reduces the overall downtime associated with component change, common to many of the other analyzers in the marketplace today. Some of the important things that we focused on whilst developing the Prime Plus was to implement some technologies to help simplify the process of critical care testing. Obviously, maintenance-free biosensors and component design. One of the top ways of reducing downtime related to many of the other point-of-care analyzers in the marketplace. Clot block technology, being able to eliminate or reduce the amount of time associated with clot introduction. With many of our competitors, if you introduce a clot, the only means of correcting that is by taking out the sensor or CalPACs or whatever components that are specific to the competitive analyzer in question, and then replacing it. Oftentimes that can mean hours of downtime. With the Stat Profile Prime Plus, you're back up and running in under 5 minutes, which is truly just a game changer, especially from a laboratory or clinical care setting. New maintenance-free disposable co-oximetry technology. Every microsensor card has a fresh cuvette on board. Nova Biomedical has non-lysing co-oximetry technology, so it reduces the overall complexity and need for harsh chemical deprotonizing solutions. So truly simplifying that entire process, as well as comprehensive cybersecurity and patient health information protection. Nova Biomedical is at the forefront of cybersecurity and data security on our platform, as well as our middleware solution. The Stat Profile Prime platform is truly designed to standardize across all large tenders and RFP opportunities. We provide the broadest menu and models available in the marketplace to meet the needs of each department. And we can customize the consumable and the analyzer to meet the needs of that clinical setting. If you do not need BUN and creatinine, we can design an analyzer that meets the need of that setting. We can ultimately design the entire procurement process as well as the entire menu configuration to meet the needs of any clinical setting and maximize the value provided by standardization throughout the hospital setting. System standardization for large tenders can lower the overall cost of operation. Again, designing the clinical analyzer to meet the needs of each clinical setting can really drive down the overall cost of operation. The good thing is being able to adjust those menus to accommodate clinical needs. If a clinical setting does not currently require BUN and creatinine, however, in 6 months, if they decide that it's an important assay to have on board, we can customize and change the configuration without changing the analyzer. The analyzer is a one-stop shop for configuration. We basically adjust the consumables to meet the clinical demand or the clinical need. This optimizes and simplifies training and support. There's one platform to train the operator training and certification on. There are e-learning modules available to help train individuals throughout a hospital setting. and it can also help with the ordering or procurement process. There are fewer SKUs, and we can ultimately streamline the entire process from the time of installation on through to procurement of your monthly consumable stream. Being a respiratory therapist myself, it was important during the design phase of this analyzer to really maximize the clinician's time by reducing the overall hands-on time of the analyzer, getting the clinicians back to the bedside. It's really important to me. By optimizing their time with a no-maintenance analyzer, it really lends to the idea of providing the best clinical picture by having a broad menu, really optimizing the patient, that very valuable, very precious patient specimen that clinician is pulling. Being able to provide the broadest menu available in the marketplace, including ionized magnesium, BUN, creatinine, blood gases, co-oximetry, as well as unique calculated parameters, including our newest calculated assay, estimated plasma volume. Estimated plasma volume requires a measured hemoglobin and a measured hematocrit, something not available on many analyzers in the market with every sample, like as is on the Prime Plus. And it's really used to guide offloading the fluid for a given patient subset. Heart failure patients, where being fluid overloaded can really have some negative impact with hospital readmissions and hospital outcomes or patient outcomes for that matter. So being able to provide those unique assays to really help guide therapeutic intervention is really what the analyzer is all about. Optimizing electrolyte balance to improve the duration of ventilatory support and ultimately reducing the overall need of ventilatory support, very important. And then total quality management, understanding that the analyzer was designed to eliminate the end user's need to be worried or concerned about regulatory compliance. Everything on this analyzer is automated and compliant with the minimum standards of any regulatory body throughout the globe. From a respiratory perspective, hypomagnesemia is incredibly impactful. We talked about ionized magnesium and the impact of monitoring that within the surgical setting. Within the respiratory setting, the importance is paramount. Reduction in magnesium levels have been associated with an increased need in ventilatory support, as well as an increased duration of ventilatory support. If we can reduce both the duration and need for ventilatory support, in my eyes, that is a win for the clinician and, more importantly, the patient as well. From a respiratory perspective, being able to guide magnesium therapy in real time with serial ionized magnesium measurement can truly be a game changer for patient care, especially from a respiratory perspective. It's been seen that measuring and guiding magnesium repletion can have an overall 21% reduction in the need for mechanical ventilation. If you can reduce intubating and mechanically ventilating a patient, that is not only going to improve patient outcomes, but survivability of getting patients out the door. Mechanical ventilation is not without its challenges. And furthermore, if you can actually reduce days on a ventilator by 2.5 days fewer because of guided magnesium therapy, even a few hours can be impactful. But 2.5 days, that is, like I was saying, an absolute game changer. Combine that with an overall reduction in ventricular tachycardia. If patients are being transferred from a surgical ICU to a respiratory or pulmonary ICU, having one analyzer to provide the broadest menu available in the marketplace can really impact the overall outcomes related to ventilation in general patient care. When discussing the differences between ionized magnesium and the clinical importance of measuring ionized magnesium versus total magnesium, I often, as I stated earlier, like to talk about where we were about 15 years ago or a little longer regarding ionized calcium versus total calcium. In this day and age, people, for the most part, would never look at total calcium versus the ionized fraction. And the same applies with magnesium. Magnesium is the physiologically active component in the total magnesium measurement. Ionized magnesium and total magnesium do not correlate in any way, shape, or form within ICU patients. And the reason for that is all of the clinical interventions that we take to improve a patient's outcome and their overall health can cannibalize the ionized magnesium fraction, positioning that patient for prolonged stay on a ventilator or prolonged stay on the ICU floor. Ionized magnesium monitoring avoids things like magnesium toxicity, as well as predisposing them for some type of ventricular dysrhythmia. So ionized magnesium versus total magnesium, it is not a question. It's really a necessity. The Prime Plus analyzer is truly standardization simplified. Providing a comprehensive critical care menu on this platform really allows this analyzer to act as a workhorse or a backup to the core lab. Streamlining order procurement as well as training and a multitude of other streamlining effects that having one system throughout a given hospital setting can really improve not only workflow but patient care as well. Unique clinical assays including ionized magnesium to guide magnesium sulfate repletion, important in cardiac bypass and also impactful in reducing the overall ventilator stays within a given hospital or ICU setting. Complete blood gas and co-oximetry profile to guide ventilation and oxygenation. NovaNet connectivity solution connecting all Nova products. So if you have the backbone of NovaNet installed, you can include and update your Nova portfolio onto that platform without any additional need of IT or added challenges from a connectivity perspective. BUN or urea and creatinine to help determine renal perfusion and hopefully to aid in reducing the overall impact of acute kidney injury in the ICU setting. Providing a basic metabolic panel or CHEM8 available in about 1 minute is a huge game changer in the emergency department setting. Component cartridge design, minimizing the overall downtime, maximizing the overall value, and really assuring the end user that when you walk up to that analyzer has the greatest possibility of receiving that patient sample and giving you a quality patient result in as little as 1 minute. And then our total quality management, really assuring the analyzer's performance completely automated from any and all actions from the end user. We've really taken this platform and simplified its operation, reduced the overall downtime, and really providing the best clinical picture in the marketplace today. So thank you for your time, and truly appreciate your listening to the next step in diagnostic evolution for the critical care setting, the Prime Plus Analyzer. Thank you.